LeBron, how you doing tonight, man? Yo, you wish Diddy happy birthday, man? Where do you get the man that has everything, LeBron?
It all went down fast, too fast. After a whole year of rumors barely simmering, the sirens came roaring back out of nowhere. News choppers buzzed above Brentwood, cameras locked on a line of blacked-out FBI SUVs, storming straight through the gates of LeBron James's massive estate. This wasn't some dusty rumor or old headline getting recycled for clicks. This was real, right now. Federal agents were stomping across the perfect green lawns of the biggest basketball icon on the planet. Diddy's arrest? That was old news, almost a year behind us. His mugshot had already turned into a running meme online. The so-called freak-off trial was practically ready for its documentary moment. But suddenly, the spotlight had swiveled hard, straight toward LeBron's marble palace, with its golden floors and private movie theater glowing in the dark. Now his home had become ground zero for a brand new celebrity storm that just wouldn't quit. The real shock wasn't just that the king's castle was being searched. It was that this whole investigation refused to fade away. Somehow, after all the chaos and headlines, it had boomeranged right back to someone no one ever thought would get caught up in it. And what really made this hit different? The timing. The FBI didn't roll up on just any random day. They marched up LeBron's driveway only hours after another wild round of headlines from Diddy's never-ending legal mess in New York. We've already seen the feds tear through his LA and Miami mansions, tearing apart rooms loaded with security cameras, mystery safes, and boxes of hard drives. But this was a whole new level. No one could open those safes without a password or a crowbar. But this time, LeBron's name in the mix. That wasn't part of any script. Not even the wildest theories from the internet's deepest corners could have predicted this twist. Suddenly, all those old rumors people used to laugh off didn't sound so crazy anymore. For years, whispers had spread that Diddy's real fortune wasn't just his cash flow or fancy cars. It was information, blackmail files, secret recordings, private footage, the kind of dirt that could make powerful people panic. The word was that Diddy had been keeping leverage on everyone who'd ever owed him a favor, just in case the tables ever turned. And the wildest rumor of all? That some of that insurance wasn't even kept at Diddy's homes, but hidden with people he trusted most. Now, with agents reportedly searching through LeBron's private office, those whispers started echoing louder than ever. Each new detail made the whole story sound darker, deeper, and way more believable. Let's get one thing straight. Diddy's legendary parties were never the glamorous red carpet photo ops he sold to Vanity Fair. In court, Cassie Ventura, his ex, his former protege, and now the prosecution's star witness, didn't sugarcoat a thing. She painted a brutal picture of wild, freak-off marathons that sometimes stretched for days, fueled by enough substances to make guests forget who they even were. Cassie told the jury she'd give back every dollar of her $20 million settlement if it could erase what she went through, being pressured, threatened, and filmed during those disturbing so-called performances. She told the court she never truly consented, and the press gallery gasped. Within minutes, blogs went into full meltdown mode. Social media detectives started digging through old party photos like treasure hunters, trying to spot which other famous faces might have been lurking in the background. And now, with LeBron's name splashed across every headline, that online frenzy has exploded into a full-blown feeding frenzy. That's what makes today's raid so radioactive. The fact that LeBron, the king himself, the man whose image has been untouchable for nearly 2 decades, is now at the center of a federal investigation. The timing couldn't be more intense. Just days after new witness lists quietly surfaced in New York, and only days after attorney Tony Busby stood in front of a wall of microphones, vowing to reveal the enablers whose names will shock you. This isn't just another scandal. This is an existential crisis for half of Hollywood and the music world. When Busby bragged about representing over 120 accusers and promised, "We will expose the enablers behind closed doors," nobody imagined LeBron's name would even be whispered near that list. Yet here we are, watching the unthinkable unfold in real time. Even if no charges ever stick, even if the FBI walks away with nothing but a cloud of dust and a few fingerprints, the damage is already done. Just the sight of federal agents combing through LeBron's trophy room, the same place where he kept his championship rings, is the kind of image that'll follow him into every interview, every camera flash, every moment for years to come. I still remember when the whole Diddy legal firestorm first exploded. It was massive.
He talks in this complaint, Reed, about fearing for his life, not just while he was working for Sean Combs, but afterwards. He tells stories about physical violence, about a time where he actually had to drive 100 miles an hour to try to escape Mr. Combs, and says he didn't call the police because he worried that that would be a sentence.
It wasn't just some celebrity scandal. It was big enough to swallow an entire industry whole. When his indictment got unsealed nearly a year ago, it wasn't only about trafficking or racketeering. No, it went way deeper. Prosecutors said there were secret recordings, coercion, and shocking performances that had been filmed without consent and then used as blackmail. Cassie's story turned out to be just the first crack in the wall, the tip of something way darker. After her testimony came wave after wave of lawsuits, former staffers stepping forward, and the chilling threat that the most compromised stars in entertainment could soon be exposed. Every few months, new names floated up. A-list actors, producers, even athletes. But never anyone on this level. LeBron's name entering that conversation turned quiet whispers into an earthquake. Now, with the king himself under that kind of heat, the pressure is volcanic. The internet lost its collective mind the second footage hit showing agents swarming LeBron's mansion. Within minutes, old clips, memes, and inside jokes came flooding back, especially that infamous Instagram Live where a laughing LeBron once said, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." Suddenly, that harmless line got clipped, remixed, and blasted across millions of feeds like it was a confession. Of course, it wasn't one, not even close. But with the raid still fresh in everyone's mind, it felt like eerie foreshadowing. Meme pages and gossip accounts went wild, posting everything from deepfakes to fake headlines claiming a LeBron and Diddy tape leak. Fact-checkers scrambled to keep up, but the chaos was already unstoppable. The truth didn't matter anymore. The internet had already chosen its story, and it was spreading like wildfire. In a world hooked on screenshots and hot takes, reality didn't stand a chance. Comments stacked up under every viral post, with one reading, "That's the most guilty comment I've ever seen." And it blew up with tens of thousands of likes. Never mind that mainstream reporters couldn't find a shred of proof that LeBron had ever said half the lines being quoted in those memes. By then, truth had become optional, and perception was the only thing that mattered. Meanwhile, speculation went off the rails. The internet dove deep into every dark theory imaginable. Humiliation rituals, secret Hollywood circles, and so-called initiation tapes. Then came that viral photo supposedly showing LeBron in a maid's outfit. Nobody could decide if it was real, staged, or just an AI-generated fever dream. Still, it spread like wildfire with captions screaming about rituals and blackmail insurance, while the James camp stayed completely silent. And that silence? It only made everything louder. Commentators and talk shows started piling on, mocking LeBron's sudden quiet streak. "He weighs in on everything," one pundit scoffed. "Why not his friends' parties now?" That jab echoed across social media, turning his silence into yet another talking point. But beneath the memes, the edits, and the non-stop noise, the stakes were deadly serious. There were still no criminal charges against LeBron, and the FBI wasn't saying a single word about what they were even looking for. Yet in today's climate, that doesn't matter much. Because in a scandal this explosive, you don't have to be guilty to get scorched. Just being close enough to the blast can burn your whole reputation to ash. What makes all of this even more unreal is how, in the middle of this online chaos, the wildest claims always seem to travel faster than the truth. One fake headline, a doctored version of a Marca article claiming there was a LeBron and Diddy tape, was completely debunked by every major fact-checker in the country. But the problem? The fake one had already hit millions of screens before the truth could even catch up. Every image used in those viral memes was traced back to old red carpets, public events, and random edits. Not a single photo, video, or message tied LeBron to any real crime. But when the FBI shows up at your front gate with flashing lights and a warrant, the truth starts to feel like just a minor detail. And while the internet keeps twisting stories into chaos, things in the real courtroom have gotten even darker. Cassie's testimony has now cemented what people once thought were just rumors. She turned those freak-off stories into hard evidence, describing days filled with humiliation, sometimes with dozens of witnesses watching, cameras rolling, and that constant creepy feeling that everything was being filmed for blackmail or power.
People I don't think realized was he had cameras all over the place, unbeknownst to them. And now he has all that footage, supposedly. This is what I'm told. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens if, you're a huge iconic, TV star or movie star and you're in.
She told the court flat out that some of those so-called performances were recorded purely for leverage, And with every new revelation, the circle of possible enablers and victims just keeps expanding. The prosecutors still aren't dropping names outside the official indictment, but behind closed doors, the tension is thick. Subpoenas, sealed warrants, and quiet threats are floating around everyone who's ever been in those infamous rooms. And that's what makes the FBI raid on LeBron's estate so explosive, even if they find nothing at all. The mere suspicion that he might have been holding, even unknowingly, a piece of Diddy's dark collection is enough to keep half of Hollywood glued to their phones, waiting for that next shocking push notification to light up their screens. Every time a new piece of witness testimony hits the headlines, the questions get nastier, and the internet's imagination runs wild. Did Diddy really trust LeBron enough to stash sensitive files at his place? Is the FBI chasing an actual lead here, or are they just scrambling to control a rumor that's gotten way too big to bury? And what if this whole search turns up nothing? Does LeBron get his clean name back, or has the damage already been done in the court of public opinion? Right now, that answer doesn't exist. For the moment, with federal agents still reportedly searching the King's mansion, one thing's certain: the line between rumor and reality has never been thinner. And Diddy's shadow? It just stretched even darker over one of the biggest names in all of sports. Almost the second those agents stepped through LeBron's gates, the internet flipped the story again. All eyes locked on that infamous viral photo of LeBron dressed as a maid, an image that might have once been brushed off as a goofy prank or Halloween joke. But now, under the harsh spotlight of an FBI raid, that same picture got dissected from every angle. Online conspiracy sleuths claimed it was ritual evidence, arguing endlessly about whether it was real, staged, or AI-generated madness. Even the sharpest digital detectives couldn't agree. Some swore it was authentic, others said it was AI art gone wrong. But the truth didn't seem to matter at all anymore, not when the timing made it look explosive. And through all of it, LeBron stayed completely silent. No tweet, no post, no statement, just silence. And that silence spoke louder than anything else could. Not even a quick denial from a publicist. Nothing. The silence became its own statement, echoing through every corner of social media like a challenge. That empty space pulled in critics from all sides, ready to pounce. Candace Owens, never one to hold back when a mic's in reach, took her shot and asked, "Is LeBron James going to weigh in on his friend's freak-offs? I mean, we hear from the king on virtually every political issue, so this seems like an odd one to stay quiet about." The message behind her words was crystal clear. The less LeBron said, the guiltier he looked. Or at least, that's how it played to an audience that's grown suspicious of every celebrity who suddenly goes quiet when things get messy. His silence wasn't being seen as grace or caution. It was being treated like a plot twist. For years, LeBron's been the voice, the guy who never hesitates to speak on social issues, league drama, or anything making national headlines. But now, when the spotlight shifted from politics to private parties, his voice just vanished. And that silence, it drove the internet wild. The speculation engine didn't need proof. It only needed a spark. If the king himself wasn't clarifying his connection to Diddy's notorious circles, maybe, just maybe, the truth was hiding somewhere else, in plain sight or buried deep in deleted footage. That's when people started dragging the missing spring break video back into the spotlight. Users across X and TikTok went full detective mode, digging through archives and re-uploads, chasing a simple clip: LeBron's son, just barely out of high school, hanging out with Diddy's twin daughters on a Turks and Caicos vacation. Suddenly, what once seemed like an innocent family trip had become a puzzle piece in a much darker narrative, and everyone online wanted to know what it really meant. The clip was posted, spotted, and wiped off the internet before anyone could even hit replay. Within hours, 1,000 different versions of the story were bouncing around. Was it just an innocent video, or was someone trying to hide something big? In the online world where digital evidence is a religion, any deleted post instantly looks like a smoking gun. No one from the James camp said a word, and the Combs family stayed just as quiet, leaving the silence wide open for conspiracy theories to flood in. Some users claimed the deletion looked like cleaning up after a crime scene, while others started asking the scarier question: how many other videos or texts might have quietly vanished too? That one missing clip, mixed with the fresh FBI raid, pushed the paranoia to a breaking point. But while the drama exploded online, the legal side of this story kept getting heavier. Cassie Ventura's testimony didn't just make headlines last year. It keeps replaying, every detail slicing deeper into the narrative surrounding Diddy and anyone who ever stood too close to him. Cassie didn't hold back for a second. She told the jury how she'd been pressured, threatened, and humiliated, how violence wasn't an exception, but a constant presence at those so-called parties. Her testimony hit so hard that even the veteran courtroom reporters looked shaken. Cassie painted a picture of being trapped, cornered, and forced into performances she never agreed to, and she said it all with brutal honesty. When the defense tried to twist her story, saying it was just a lifestyle choice, she cut through that argument instantly. Her words were cold and clear. This wasn't about free will. Her settlement wasn't hush money. It was survival. But the most jaw-dropping moment didn't even come from Cassie. It came when Brianna Blonde took the stand and delivered testimony straight out of a nightmare.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
She described being dangled over the railing of a 17th floor balcony, small, terrified, and completely at Diddy's mercy. For a split second, I was thinking about if I was going to fall. But mostly, he was just yelling at me, she told the court. Her words froze the room cold. Photos of bruises and her neck brace left no space for doubt. Nobody could call her just another opportunist after seeing that evidence. It was raw, undeniable, and horrifying. The idea of being anywhere near Diddy suddenly looked like more than a bad headline. It looked dangerous. In that atmosphere, every connection to him started to feel radioactive. Attorney Tony Busby's promise hit harder than ever. We will expose the enablers whose names will shock you. That warning echoed through the courtroom like thunder. And out in the world, it spread like wildfire. Because now, whether the legal files mention him or not, only one name seems to be bouncing around every room, every timeline, every headline. LeBron. His reputation, once untouchable, is now tangled in whispers that won't stop, and silence that feels louder than any denial ever could. The question was never whether LeBron had actually committed a crime, because there's no charge, no formal accusation, nothing official at all. But in a world where silence, optics, and old posts can be used as ammunition, even a harmless birthday selfie can suddenly turn toxic. As whispers about Diddy's so-called control files kept resurfacing, stacks of private recordings and secret images said to be locked away for leverage, the myth started looking a lot more real. Federal agents had already seized hard drives and digital archives from Diddy's Los Angeles and Miami homes months ago, and that only fueled the fire. The rumor mill claimed that not all the files were in Diddy's safes. Some were supposedly hidden with his trusted friends. So when reports surfaced that investigators were now digging through devices and digital evidence seized from LeBron's estate, the tension in Hollywood skyrocketed. Suddenly, every celebrity with a connection to Diddy started sweating through their designer suits, wondering what might show up next. Even the most innocent clips started to look suspicious. That old video of LeBron and Diddy dancing at a dinner, once nothing more than good vibes, got chopped up and re-uploaded as if it were proof of something sinister. The famous "ain't no party like a Diddy party" moment, fans once laughed at it, but now it's being replayed like some kind of hidden confession. Even photos from the ESPYs, red carpet smiles, tuxedos, and champagne, have been turned into split-screen evidence, plastered beside courtroom sketches and crime headlines. Every snapshot, every frame, every word from the past suddenly feels like part of a bigger puzzle that nobody ever thought LeBron would be connected to. This wasn't proof, not even close. But we've all seen how fast the public can turn when it gets a taste of a blackmail story mixed with talk of hidden archives and secret files. With investigators now picking through digital evidence and hinting that more revelations could drop any minute, even the most harmless or posed photo can suddenly take on a whole new meaning in the ruthless court of public opinion. The blackmail angle now hangs over this entire saga like thick Los Angeles smog, heavy, inescapable, and choking every name linked to it. Diddy's alleged obsession with recording everything, keeping dirt as leverage, and using those files as his personal insurance policy isn't rumor anymore. It's public record. But what the feds actually found during those raids, that's still a mystery. The agents have gone quiet, and LeBron's legal team has locked itself behind closed doors, refusing to say a word. Still, every time a new name starts trending, or a file or message quietly disappears, the feeling spreads that the net might be wider than anyone wants to believe. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just the messy fallout of a massive investigation. But in the high-stakes world of fame and reputation, proximity alone can ruin you. And now, that's the risk everyone in Diddy's orbit is facing. Because in Hollywood's storm of rumor and exposure, you don't have to be guilty to get scorched. You just have to be standing too close when the fire hits. The days ahead, they're about to get brutal for anyone caught in the splash zone. The industry's learned the hard way that being an enabler doesn't just mean cutting checks or looking the other way. It can be as simple as sending a text, sharing a guest list, posing for a photo, or staying quiet when the world's demanding answers. For 2 decades, LeBron James has built his image on being untouchable, the golden standard, the man who never loses. But now, with FBI agents combing through his mansion, old quotes resurfacing like ghosts, and viral photos twisting his story beyond recognition, we're witnessing something no one expected. The slow unraveling of a carefully crafted legacy right before our eyes. The world's asking one question louder than ever. Is LeBron just collateral damage? An unlucky friend caught in a scandal too big to dodge? Or is there something deeper hidden in the files? The silence and those mysteriously vanished videos? The tension is electric, and the theories are getting wilder by the hour. So here's what everyone's wondering tonight. Is LeBron James just another celebrity trapped in the blast zone of someone else's downfall? Or has America's king been standing closer to the fire than anyone dared to believe? Whatever the truth is, one thing's certain. The story isn't done, and the next headline could change everything. Drop your wildest theories in the comments. What do you think the FBI might uncover in those digital vaults? Smash that like button, subscribe for the next update, share this story with your crew, and let's keep this conversation going. Stay curious, stay bold, and don't blink, because this drama, it's just getting started.